This week in RPM, it's the fastest and most daunting round of the Pirelli Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, and it's absolutely critical for three drivers who dream of being on top of the tar in 2005. It's the Manx International Rally in association with Total.
It's been a fantastic championship so far. 5 rounds, 4 winners and 7 points separating the top 3.
Again and again, the Tarmac Championship is proving that it is the top entertainment value of any rallying series in the UK and Ireland, and many would say one of the top in the world. At number 5 in the charts, we have the retiring man from Wexford, Eamon Boland, whose aggression is only evident when he's behind the wheel. The veteran Austin McHale may be number 4 in the Irish Championship charts, but until recently he was leading the British Series, and the Dubliner has lost none of his appetite for the stages. Tim McNulty is the newcomer to the Tarmac Tearaways, and his second place on the Jim Clark Rally had many tongues wagging.
We've got on the pace in the last 2 rounds, and we're chasing hard after Eugene and Derek.
The 2003 champion Derek McGarity agreed to share the title last year. However, men who are this competitive do not relish sharing anything.
Unfortunately, the last couple of rallies for us haven't worked out for different reasons, so we need to get our championship back on track here.
Their limits are right on the limit, and their equipment may be getting a little bit tired, but no team can make a pound stretch farther, and no driver tries harder than Eugene Donnelly, who this year hopes with every vein in his body to be the solo Tarmac champion.
It's close, alright, there's been lots of drama, you know, but sure, it always was the best championship to be involved in.
Round 6 then is in high summer on the Isle of Man, but high summer does not necessarily bring high temperatures on this little land in the middle of the Irish Sea. To put it mildly, and oh how the 50-strong field wish it were mild, conditions are atrocious as they set out from Douglas on the first evening of the event. Some chance of a heat wave.
Well, it's 10 years since there's been an Irish winner on the island, and the local hero Mark Higgins has to be the favourite. But what keeps the Irish coming back?
Ireland's last Manx winner, Frank Maher, knew that the terrain can change from narrow lane to Fogbound Pass and back to international race circuit in an instant. Frank, Cathal Curley and Adrian Boyd conquered it, and Kenny McKinstry would dearly love to join that list.
You take a look at the top 20, I mean, very good top 20, excellent top 10, so it's tougher than it ever was, you know, so we just have to go and go as hard as we can.
I am looking forward to it. It's a long rally, it's a tough rally, and it's a great challenge, you know.
I love the Isle of Man rally, it's a fantastic rally, but these conditions are going to be very, very tricky.
And very tricky for the Irish as Mark Higgins starts as favoured. Number 1, he's a Manx man. Number 2, he's won the event 3 times. And 3, he's right on form.
You know, it's going to be different competition again. I think Derek's going to be fast. Eugene's going to be very quick, and it's going to suit his tyres as well. So it should be a proper race again.
Grim statistics for our lads, and certainly grim conditions.
It's the middle of summer. We're on the Isle of Man, and it is absolutely lashing. This is going to be one very interesting rally.
Higgins, McKinstry, McGarity, McHale, Donnelly, McNulty. It doesn't come much more interesting than that. On Thursday, it's a dash along the coast to Castletown for the traditional 2 town stages. Then up into the mountains and the darkness. 5 tests in total. The crowds wait in anticipation in Castletown, fortified suitably against the elements. Mark Higgins blasts his 2002 Ford Focus, complete with a considerable amount of more recent development bits from M Sport, off the Balladale start line. He opens his home account in fine style. 4.2 seconds fastest on the 6.3 mile Ballavale stage, half a second up on Castletown 1, and equal fastest on Castletown 2. It's what was expected, but did Kenny McKinstry expect such a pace at such an early stage? Kenny has won the Manx National on numerous occasions, but never the International. It's what brings him back again and again. But after 3 tests, he's already 5.2 seconds behind Mark. McGarity, by comparison, is a Manx novice. see just how treacherous that Ballardale Coast Road is. The Pirelli S10, which Derek feels is down on par, is spectacular through Castletown Square. Austin McHale has been adjusting his brake balance in the Sanyo Ford Focus, and he intends to soften his suspension in service. Eugene Donnelly and Paul Kiley lead the start of the 23-stage event.
Let it in for tight 6 left, don't cut.
You don't want to end up in there, especially not today. Eugene is 4th fastest along the cliffs, but slower through the town. After 3 stages, he's back in 5th. Tim McNulty makes an even more cautious start. He's back in 10th, 30 seconds down. Eamon Boland is paddling along in fine style. The S8 is being fired through the town in 6th place. And Paul Bird gets a real flyer on stage 2, setting 2nd fastest time. And after 3, he's 4th overall. Gareth Jones is a fine 7th place, but Gareth McHale has been delayed helping at the scene of an accident. Richard Gower's delay was self-inflicted as he's backed his Hyundai into a wall at the entrance to the town. Nigel Hickton has his Eurocable Skoda Octavia in 15th place.
We move from the coast to the mountains, where you can add fog and darkness to the downpours as the Manx continues to heap hazards on the Challenger. And at the end of the 5th stage, Austin hits water and trouble. The Ford has drowned out the WRC Focus, and the seconds frustratingly tick away as Eugene Donnelly approaches.
2 left, don't cut.
Eugene is now up to 3rd, and the McGeehan Motorsport team have adjusted the suspension of the Corolla, and it's paying off.
Flat right into flat 2 left.
But as they encounter the McHale obstacle, they don't have any vision.
You see, over. Keep going. Keep going. Very long, tight 3 left opens.
Eventually, the McHale Focus dries out enough to fire it up, and they're on their way. But they will finish the day way down in 17th place. Tim McNulty's not happy.
I think while being a bit cautious, we're just not on the game yet, and that's all we can say. Just the head isn't on the game, but hopefully we're here in one piece, so we'll live to fight another day tomorrow.
Boland moves from 6th to 5th in the evening. And Paul Baird drops from 4th to 6th, not helped by the spin at New Mills. Gareth Jones is 7th. Derek McGarity drops behind his championship rival Donnelly, and now fog blankets the shiny tar in the mountains.
It's all flat. Right to left 80.
It's horribly slippy. That 2 stages ago up over the mountain is just horrific, and fog, and I do not like fog.
To flat left 100.
In contrast, Eugene is revelling in the conditions, and he moves into 3rd place. The Kingspan car is 2nd fastest in Crocknamona, and the McHale hold-up has cost him 10 seconds on corner.
Flat 1 left 250.
We had a great run on that stage right up to where we hit the fog, and to finish the stage, Paul reckons I need to go to the optician. I don't know what he means by that, like, you know.
Well, if he's so good, why is he not driving?
Good question.
McKinstry is another to come unstuck at New Mills, but the Manx veteran remains in the runner-up position, but now 19 seconds behind the leader.
You're not letting him get too far away, though.
No, but every wee bit sort of makes it bigger, doesn't it?
But day 1 has produced the perfect score for Higgins, fastest in all 5 stages, and that's even with a puncture.
I think we were still quickest, believe it or not, so quite happy with that. But I think we would have had a really good time if not for the puncture, but if only.
5 stages down and 18 to go.
She's coming up. It's there.
There's a frantic Friday format on the Manx International Rally as 9 stages lie ahead on the 2nd and toughest day, and the conditions continue to be catastrophic. There's no change at the top, however, as Mark Higgins and Brian Thomas continue to dominate, pushing their overnight lead of 19 seconds out to 56 by the end of the first loop. 8 stages in, and they've still been fastest on every one of them. McKinstry and Orr have no answer for the Manx man. They have a comfortable second place, as Donnelly is nearly half a minute behind. But on the run down from Brandywell, Donnelly puts his hand down to adjust the anti-lag system.
What did I do? What did I turn off, Paul? Don't know. Keep going. Is she not going? No, not going. Fuel pump, fuel pump.
He's accidentally switched off the fuel pump, losing valuable time. By contrast, we've moved from the open expanses of Brandywell to the frighteningly tight lanes. And there's no space for mistakes here.
Slide right over crest. Brake. 5 left. And right. 5 left and right.
McGarity is moving up from 5th overnight to 4th.
Right, Andrew, watch the curb, don't have that round.
But at this chicane, the marshal in the middle of the road freaks him out.
Derek, what are you at? Right, 80, go. Oh, wow. 5 right, 5 right, 80. 5 left.
They're now 1 minute 45 seconds behind the leaders, but more worryingly 24 seconds behind their championship rivals. Paul Bird and Ian Windress are on excellent 5th. And Eamon Boland and Francis Regan 6th, but as usual the Wexford driver has little to report. Tim McNulty is pouring on the coals today. He and Eugene Donnelly in the Pierce construction car set 3rd fastest time on Derby 1. Melvin Evans is 11th. That's 2 places ahead of Austin McHale, whose son Gareth is having a miserable time with his ill-handling Corolla. The shock absorbers won't allow the team to soften the suspension sufficiently for the conditions, and Gareth is contemplating a withdrawal from the event. Gareth Jones is already gone. As we move into the Merck and revisit the St John's Ford, where you really do need to test your brakes, Happy Higgins continues his unbeaten run. He improves his position on every stage. To say it's impressive is an understatement.
It's gone quite well today, yeah. We're comfortable, but we're still pushing at a nice pace. I think if you back off too much, then you lose your concentration. But there's some really slippery bits. Even I'm finding new bits all the time, so it's keeping me on my toes.
Kenny's not going to catch Mark, but Eugene is becoming a real threat.
It's just a question of how much risk you take, you know. We're watching Eugene, you know, and he's obviously going well. Derek had a bit of a problem on the last one, but Mark's still doing the times.
But on the round table stage, Donnelly's challenge for second place, it's a big obstacle.
Watch the water. Okay, keep 3 left plus, maybe. Use the road. Stay right down through the great 100. Oh, yeah, watch it. You're f***ing sick, Eugene. What are you at? Flat 2 right, 100.
I mean, this is a difficult rally and weather conditions just add to it all, so it's a case I think of just playing safe, really playing safe, and I have a bit of a cushion now on Derek. I need to try and protect that. No point in looking in front, just got to look behind.
Derek is looking at the gap which is widening between him and Eugene. He's only 0.8 of a second slower at Rockmount, but the real damage is done on round table.
Get in! Get in! Well, get out. No. Well, get out, Derek. This fella, we're going to clean it.
We're pushing that stage to try and get a bit of time back of Eugene, and unfortunately it's incredibly slipping. We just got a 4 left and a 5 right wrong and spun on the road and collected a whole lot of scenery. Which, the annoying thing was we probably lost about 45 seconds on the stage, but we're still here, you know, so we'll just have to go again, because it seems to be we take 3 steps forward and then take 2 back in the next stage, so just try again.
As they patch up one S10 Subaru, the other one belonging to Tim McNulty is 6th after Rockmount. But it disappears off the radar on stage 10, round table. The There are reports of an accident involving a spectator, which fortunately turns out to be a minor incident. It would prove to be a rough break for the crew, who are lying third in the Irish series and making a very determined bid for their first tarmac title. Paul Bird flies through the fog and into Ramsey for the second spectator spectacular in the event, in 5th place. He's 19 seconds ahead of Eamon Boland in the Don Buckley run in Pretza. Melvin Evans is 9th. And Austin McHale is closing fast as the Sanyo car recovers from its drowning. They are 5th fastest on the second run through the town. Tony Davis is 13 seconds behind them. But Richard Garr is in bother again on the town stage. This Hyundai doesn't seem to like an urban environment. And Gareth McHale finally decides to give up the unequal struggle of trying to control his Corolla and becomes a spectator. And Nigel Hicklin also retires with gearbox problems.
Mark Higgins' domination is total. The Eddie Stobart car has not only been fastest in every test, but it is now 2 minutes 33 seconds up the road from its nearest rival. But nothing is ever certain in rallying, especially in these conditions. Kenny McKinstry is still second as they enter the round table stage for the second time.
4 right, 60.
It's the end of their rally and the end of Kenny's dream to win the International. Donnelly has been closing on him all morning, and the gap is now down to 3 seconds.
Very slippy and brake, do all your braking. Stop. 3 right over crest.
But this round table stage is one of the worst to date, and we're now heading towards the place where Kenny has crashed out.
Tight 5 right opens, slippy. Oh, it. Okay, brake.
It's a miraculous escape.
3 right, tight, square left, sudden brake. Yeah.
And there's
40.
Kenny parked on the right.
Tight 2 right.
He's off there about 3 miles back away on a very slippy, tighten into a square lap. And it's like ice, absolutely ice. And he just seemed to slide off and hit a gate.
Slippy down here now, isn't it?
Think so.
Slippy there now, isn't it? Come on, you bitch.
Now Derek and Dermot are getting into the danger area.
All right, maybe. Get it.
They also survive, but Dermot has lost his notes and Derek is now driving blind.
Yeah, pick it up. Come on, Dermot. No, I haven't got the fucking Derek. I don't know where now. Try and get from the hairpin left. Right then, be hairpin left round the bale. Yeah, try and get it up there. Right, okay.
Next into Kenny's trap, Paul Bird. Followed by Austin McHale, Richard Gower, and many more. So with 2 days down, Higgins is top, but Tim McNulty is missing, as he'd stopped to make sure that a spectator he has clipped, who was in a prohibited area, was perfectly okay. But now with a major time penalty, his rally and possibly his championship chances are wrecked.
They penalise us with to either throw us out of the rally or give us our actual maximum stage time of 29 minutes or something, and basically wasting our time, because if they throw us out, or no point going to the Ulster or Cork, because we're lying third overall in the championship, and they've just made that decision. So the next time if it ever happens, do you leave them there and drive on, or do you do what you're supposed to do and get your ambulance and do the safety thing? I don't know what to do. So we have a stewards meeting tonight, and I'd say that would be hot and heavy.
The decision does not go in Tim's favour, and he withdraws from the event, as the letter of the law has been applied.
The stage was stopped obviously to let in medical people. All the competitors who are affected by the stoppage get the normal notional time. That cannot be applied to anybody who wholly or in part causes the incident. So 26 minutes was our estimation of what time he would actually have taken for the stage, taking into account he had the accident, he tended for the injured, and then he proceeded.
Surely the law should be reviewed in the best long-term interests of the sport.
The final day, and you've guessed it, Mark Higgins is still fastest. Eugene Donnelly doesn't make any attempt to catch him. That would be pointless, as the points he's interested in are those being traded between him and Derek McGarity, who's 27 seconds behind. On Brandywell, Derek is fractionally faster, but on corner, Eugene replies. The rain had stopped at last by Saturday morning. Melvin Evans got as high as 8th before disappearing in the very last stage. Tony Davis put on a late charge up to 9th before crashing out 2 from the end. Austin McHale and Brian Murphy climbed back to 6th, while Paul Bird's scarred Focus finishes 5th. Eamon Boland and Francis Reagan are a fine 4th despite a late puncture, netting them 3rd place tarmac points. The rather demotivated pairing of Derek McGarity and Dermot O'Gorman have settled for 3rd and 2nd highest tarmac point scorers.
Eugene's doing very, very well, so fair play to him, but you know, there's always the Ulster and Cork.
And 2nd in the circumstances is as good as Eugene Donnelly and Paul Kiley could have expected in their 6-year-old Corolla, a car that's looking increasingly like it might take the series.
Thank you, Paul.
Mark Higgins had won the Manx International twice before, but now he and Brian Thomas have done something that nobody has ever done before, and that is winning it by winning every stage in the rally.
As I said before, driving these cars, I enjoy it so much, and who knows when it's going to stop. If all rallies were like this, it'd be quite easy.
So Eugene Donnelly is now 6 points ahead in the championship, and with dropped scores it's even better for the Magherafelt driver. The production boys do the full international route, which on day 1 involves 5 special sections, including the traditional Castletown showpiece.
Well, we've seen how the WRC's got on at the Manx International Rally. Now it's the turn of all the other classes and the Group Ns. David Higgins, the local hero, has of course to be the favourite, so can the Irish boys give him a run for his money?
Higgins, being a native, is indeed the production favourite. Irish interest, however, centres on his teammate Rory Gallagher and the Tarmac Championship Group N front-runners.
I'd say this is probably going to be my weakest event. I was only here once before and only got a few stages that time.
Jennings leads Group N in the Irish Tarmac Championship.
We have to finish. If we finish here and finish Ulster, it's going to leave anybody else very difficult to catch us, so our main aim is to finish, so we're not going to worry about the British boys today. We're just going to set our own pace.
And Roy White is hoping for a change in fortune.
I love this rally. I think it's great. I think the stages are brilliant, and it's very well organised as well. It would have been nice if it stayed dry, but the rain is coming now. It's going to make it very, very tricky.
True to form, David Higgins is the initial leader. After 3 stages, the Manx man is just over a second ahead of his teammate in the Rally Arc Mitsubishis. He's been risking intermediate tires through Castletown though, and Rory, the Manx novice, is fractionally quicker than David on both of his runs through the town. Rob Watson, the 2004 Manx Group N winner, is the fastest Group N here, but he trails Higgins by 5 seconds. Next up is Barry Clark in the first of the Subarus.
60 narrow.
Gary Jennings and James McKee enter Castletown 5th in Group N and leading the tarmac registered runners exactly where they wanted to be.
40. Turn fast 5 right.
Roy White and Stephen Macaulay are already worried about the gearbox in the FESP Evo 8 on the very first stage. Surely the Clonmel driver's disastrous season has to change.
Left 130. Right 130.
At Castletown, Roy is quicker on his first run through the historic town, but that Synchromesh is still acting up. It's treacherous as they approach the square.
Right 4 hairpin left, right monument.
Oh, that was a big slide. Despite posting a slower time, Roy is steadier through the square on the second run. But he has a big moment just after it. But he's still 6th fastest in the production standings and 2nd fastest of the tarmac runners.
Slowing into right 4.
Next up, it's Alan Nesbitt, who's having his first taste of the Manx stages. Lorna Smith, in the 2nd of the Eddie Stobart Subarus, is 9th in Group N. As we move out of town and into the mountains, the conditions deteriorate further, and the corner water splash gives the Rally Arc Lancers problems. The Group N leader, David Higgins, has hit it hard, and he loses 5 seconds and the lead to Rory Gallagher. but Rory has also damaged his Lancer in the water, and the cooling fan has to be refitted.
Expensive water crossing for the Mitsubishi team. Hopefully we haven't done any lasting damage to the engines and we'll be alright for tomorrow.
And Rory, you said you were going to be the meat in the Isle of Man sandwich, and the boys were certainly coming at you.
Yeah, they certainly were. I mean, the first 3 stages weren't too bad, I think, but the last 2 stages were very, very tough, and we're just glad to get through them.
Others also suffer in the darkness. Rob Watson has had an argument with a bale in the fog. And Jennings, like many during the night, has had many nightmarish moments.
And caution, stay left, and the bump over grid, and line for turn, hairpin right. Hairpin right.
Like this overshoot on the Crocknamona stage.
Overshot. 40. Through the grid, 60. Fast 5 left. Go ahead, fast 5, go, go, go.
In Brandywell there's 2 roads you can go, and it was the first one, so instead of making a climb, I just went away on down the road and come back up the right road, so probably dropped by 20 seconds.
He actually only dropped 11 seconds, but Roy White will drop a lot more as his Annus Horribilis continues.
Right 160. Right 2 into left 2. 130. Didn't do a thing. Lost all power. 130. Right 2 into jump 1. Turn your lights off. Lights are off. I'll look under the bonnet.
Aaron McHale moves up a place. As Roy and Stephen McCauley rummage under the bonnet, Alan Nesbitt also moves ahead.
Hey, I just tootled up the road and go. Tootle up the road. Just be wary of that shorting.
Sadly, they tootle into retirement on the next stage, where the FESP Evo finally expires with a faulty master switch. To his surprise, Rory Gallagher leads the field, and there's not a Tarmac Championship runner in the top 5.
The opening evening may have been severe, but it's only a dress rehearsal for day 2 on the Total Manx International Rally, when 11 stages have to be tackled and the overnight weather has not improved. It's a case of the 3 musketeers at the top of Group N, as Gallagher, Higgins and Watson are a minute and a half ahead of the 4th place runner. Rory heads the trio by 5 seconds. Rory gained the works drive, the second of his career, by winning the 2004 Mitsubishi Challenge, and his 2005 goal is to take the British Group N Championship. Higgins has changed to a softer tyre, but he loses out on the first stage of the day to Gallagher. But he starts to claw back time on stages 7 and 8.
The 3 Group N cars at the front, there's nothing. I think on the last 3 stages we no more than like 2 seconds between all of us on the 2 stages combined, so it was a good battle, so it was good fun.
Rob Watson, who works in a TV production company on the island, has had a knuckle struggle to stay with the Works Rally Art cars, and you can see how hard he's been trying. But he gets a little overexcited here on the Baldoon stage. But he's still well in touch at the end of the morning, just 30 seconds behind the leader. Barry Clark is the leading Subaru in 4th place, but he's had to change to a standard gearbox and the ratios are not to his liking. Lorna Smith tries a wall of death act on stage 8. However, the Aberdeen girl is still in 5th place in Group N. 1 place ahead of Alan Nesbitt, who now leads the Tarmac Group N contingent. Gary Jennings and James McKee, who look really quick here, have been in the wars and they've dropped a lot of time during the morning.
1 left, 80, 1 right, and the 1 right brave, keep going to the end of the stage. What is it? 1 right and the 1 right brave, 80, 4 left, and 1 left continues, 60, flat 2 right.
Bad vibrations inside the Jennings Evo, and this ain't no chicken run.
Well, the feathers were certainly flying on some of those stages.
On the first stage this morning, the clutch overheated off the start line, so probably dropped 30 seconds there. On the next stage, the extension on the brake pedal came off and jammed the throttle wide open. and then on the third one we broke a drive shaft.
The Galligan Evo erupts out of the fog at Brandywell, and the number 14 Lancer is about to be handed a gift. For as Rory is showboating to the crowds on the Ramsey Promenade, his teammate is packing up to go home. David Higgins' run comes to an end after stage 11 when there's a small fire in his Lancer. Aaron McHale's Maxwell Mitsubishi is also out, and probably now out of the Tarmac Championship reckoning too. But Rob Watson, now up to second in Group N, sportingly stopped to give Higgins an extra fire extinguisher. Despite this delay, he's lying in 8th place overall. Lorna Smith will hit trouble at Round Table, which puts her right out of the reckoning after 11 stages. Jennings, however, is recovering rapidly. But there's trouble in stage 16 and the Jennings Oil Evo 6 gets off lighter than most.
Caution 2 left continues, and the 5 left tightens. Fast 4 right.
That kick was Kenny McKinstry's downfall, and if a king like Kenny can be caught out, many of the production princes will follow. Rob Watson just catches the slide. Barry Clark is also just on top of it. But Steve Petch pitches his projectile right into the bank.
Felt like there was some grease or something or oil on the road to me, because it just basically like locked up and just slid, turned in, just went straight on, hit the whatever hard was in the bank side there and ripped the wheel off.
Rory Gallagher has got a useful 2-minute cushion now. Gary Jennings is back on top of the Tarmac points tally.
The final day, and there are still 7 stages to go, and the very last one, which brings them onto the TT course, is almost the longest of the rally at 13.6 miles. But first, let's salute the Class and Historic winners. Class A7 is won by Guy Woodcock, with Sean Wilferton the runner-up. Class A6 goes to the Cannell family, and young Brian O'Mahony is second. Andrew Gamble takes the Class A5 trophy back to Strabane, and Alwyn Spears is the runner-up. And we must give an honourable mention to Harry Cathcart and Lenny Weir, who finish yet another Manx International. In the N3 class, Simon Hughes takes home the prize with Donegal's Keith McElhinney, the runner-up. It's been a Porsche benefit in the historic rally, with Steve Smith leading all the way from Castle Rock's Desi Nutt.
So to the final Group N countdown on the 2005 Manx International. Stanley Valentine from Strabane brings his ageing Evo 5 home in 6th place. Alan Nesbitt and Paddy Robinson bring their Imprexa back to Douglas, 5th in Group N, 12th overall, and more importantly 2nd in the Tarmac Group N points, and that's even with a puncture on the final stage. It's maximum Tarmac Group N points again for Gary Jennings, who had James McKee with him this time, though they clip a curb on the final corner. Barry Clark and Neil Shanks are 3rd in Group N. And in the closing stages, Rob Watson and Robert Fagg make a last-ditch effort, but it's too late to do anything about Galligan. Rory Gallagher and Greg Shinners have had a superb rally, but on the final stage they eased off, eased themselves into a ditch, but without any major consequences.
We had backed off a wee bit, but as I feared early on in the event, if we'd backed off we made mistakes, and it came through, we actually did make a mistake.
Is the Ulster the next one on your list?
Yes, the home event I suppose of the championship, that's the next one on our list, so yeah, another good run there would be great, but it's going to be just as tough probably as here.
So Rory Gallagher is the outright winner, and Gary Jennings is the Tarmac points winner, and he's now looking very much like the 2005 champion.